It says soy milk sucks.
Farming needs to stop. That's the single biggest driver of climate change.
All right. Without farming, you would be hungry, naked, and sober. That's the facts. Don't f with farming, son. You know what I'm saying? Crop till you drop, bruh. All day, son. I'm out here raking while you faking, bruh. Don't f with farming, bruh.
They knock them unconscious in different ways and then they slit their throat to drain the blood out of them.
Yeah,
so
after they don't feel pain.
But it's murder, right?
No.
Yes.
Murder.
Taking someone's life is murder, wouldn't you agree?
I would not.
Wait, just a moment. You think cows, pigs, chickens are an object? They're not someone.
I never said they were an object.
Well, you just said
I said
they're
they were an animal. I never said they were someone.
You said they're not someone, they're something.
As a human, something.
No, someone is any individual, whether it be a dog, a human, a cow, a chicken, or a pig.
Is individual.
They all have a brain. They're all people.
Yeah, they're not people though.
Yeah, they are.
A people is a Homo sapien person.
It can be a person is any individual that is sentient.
You are so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
Yeah, this is the world that we're living in now, where a kid has to explain to a vegan woman that an animal is not a human being. And the weirdest thing is she's standing there debating a kid when she's painted and barely wearing anything. If you're a weird man painted as a cow talking to little girls,
You're going to jail. You're going to jail.
Okay, so trans species man who self-identifies as a deer accidentally shot by hunters. It's not an accident because he identified as a deer and they are deer hunting.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
I identify as a person that lives in a world where things like this aren't real. But in the event that it is real, I'm happy that he was able to get the full deer experience.
somebody said, did he go to a hospital or a vet? Now, I did look this story up and it turns out that it's satire, but in the world that we're living in now, it would not have surprised me at all if it was real.
If a girl went to a middle or high school where they didn't have a big sports fund and she played on the male lacrosse team and then transferred to a school that had a girls and boys lacrosse team and then she chose to play on the girls team after playing on the boys team, no one would care. No one would care because she's cis. They only care because she's trans. No one really cares about you playing the man version of a sport if you're a girl and then you play the woman version later. They only care when you're trans.
Yeah.
The transness of this all is really what people get
If that were to be the case where I played a male sport and then went to a female sport, I did not pump hormones in my body to genetically get me to a better place than playing with males.
Gotcha, bitch.
I'm bored of people explaining simple biological differences to low IQ college students. I say we just let it happen, let them see for themselves. If women like this want to be part of the reason that women's sports gets completely ruined, then let them do it.
Look, I hate how you've opened up this debate and asked me if I find it offensive as a woman or whatever. I don't care. I don't care that Dylan doesn't have breasts and wears sports. Really? It doesn't bother me what's in people's pants or in people's, bras.
Really?
No, I'm not preoccupied with that.
Do you care that Leah Thomas, a 6'4" biological male who competed unsuccessfully as a man at swimming, is now winning national championship swimming races against biological females?
I think that's extrapolating the argument.
Do you care?
Because what we're talking about is Dylan and whether she's on a beer can.
We're talking about the whole trans issue. My argument to you is, do you care about that?
Is she a woman?
Huh?
In my opinion, she's a woman. So
you don't care?
That's fine.
Another fake woman who doesn't care about women and is doing everything she can to pander to the little woke army so she can keep going on the Piers Morgan show and her bank account stays full.
Just the question, please. No speech. What is the question?
What do you have to say to the trans students on this campus who are actively victimized by your president?
Life's tough. Get a helmet, man. I'm too pregnant for this. Okay, next question. Great statement. That's a statement. That's a statement. Okay, you know your identity. You're not confused. Congratulations, sweetheart. Thank you very much for your statement. You're a bit more
What I know we follow what happened on campus last year.
I'm not.
Great, look it up. So it was just involving.
It says on her Mac, smash capitalism, and someone said, smashing capitalism with a $1,200 Mac and a $7 Starbucks drink.
I'm just asking, what is this?
This is a manor and this is a table. And also undergirded because social support.
socialist.
Communist, yes.
Oh, nice. Where are you from? You? So if you're from China, why you live here? It's a good question, huh? So why are you from China? China is not communist. No, you have to look into some more communist. Okay, fine.
Yeah, and if you're in a communist country, you probably wouldn't even get permission or be allowed to do it.
This is about the fair, I can feel.
I mean, you can't film people without their consent.
I can. I'm on the public fair, I can film anyway. I'm just having a debate, I don't know. Communist people, this is what communist people do. They run away when someone has to debate with them. I'm just talking to you, I'm not doing anything bad. I don't have a debate. I'm from a communist country. I know what communist is. None of you live in a communist regime. You live in a communist regime and be flipped. You left. Why you don't live there? You're promoting this rubbish for what? You know how many people died for this? Where is your mind? Where is your mind? What capitalism? Oh wow, yeah. But you live here on capitalism.
Gotcha.
Make a nation, please. He offended me, you know why? Because my dad was in jail 15 years for communism. Just because he couldn't say what he thinks. Now I'm telling you, as a normal person, what I think about communism. And you're offended because communists are like this. You can't express what you really feel. If you live in a communist country, you will understand what that is. But because you don't live there, this is what you do. You promote something that is very damaging to millions of people for years. And you support that because it's cool. It's not cool, man. You don't understand. It's not funny. This is a free country. In Cuba, in my country, you can do that. You can promote anything out of communism. Go to the communist country and do it there. Why are you doing it here? Confusing people's minds, young people's minds. Confusing young people's minds. Tell me one country that communists work. You don't even know why you are, man. Stupid idiot.
So they're people promoting communism that don't want to speak to an actual person who's experienced living in a communist country.
While playing abroad, I still do have schoolwork to do, like papers and assignments. So I'm currently in my third year of university, and I'm a business.
You don't find that suspicious?
The fact they're running away and refusing to listen to him just means they don't want to hear the truth, or they know the truth and they don't want to accept it. And that just means that deep down they don't believe in what they're doing or have any idea of what it's actually like. You know, it's like he said, it's easy being a communist when you don't live in a communist country. And if you're that desperate to live in one, then off you go.
Plus-size travelers, of course we're expected to pay more than just a travel contract. We're plus-size travelers. Of course we think about it from the perspective before we book a flight. Plus-size travelers, of course we get dirty looks anytime we're traveling. Plus-size travelers, of course we can't use the trouble on a plane. We're plus-size travelers. Of course we can't use the airplane lavatory comfortably. We're plus-size travelers. Of course we have to walk sideways down the plane aisle to make sure we don't hit you with an ass. Plus-size travelers, of course we have to worry about weight-based discrimination. Plus-size travelers, of course we get an extra pat down at security.
I'm so confused. At what point is this not a wake-up call? I don't think the airport is discriminating against you. I think maybe they just weren't expecting... I'm not even going to finish my sentence. There's about 1,000 ways you could go about this situation. Hating on the airport or airline is not one of them.
Yeah, you don't need 100 ways, you need 2 ways, and that's the gym and the diet. Also, if you take up more space, you should pay more money. It's not because you're overweight that you're more entitled than everyone else. If anything, it should be the opposite.
That is a real phobia. That is a fear. I'm scared of spices. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, a fat person on eating legs, that'd be pretty scary. You know, I'm like, I'll tell you what happened. You can tell me fat phobia. During the pandemic out there in LA, I saw photos of like people overweight, and I was like, here's what I'm gonna do. I have a personal training background. I'm gonna offer free personal training and free diet for anybody who's overweight. And I put that on my Instagram story. And this, yeah, I thought it was cool, but this skinny white girl messaged me and she goes, "You're a fat phobic piece of." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And she goes, "You know what you're doing. You're shaming them for being fat. That's like shaming someone for being black." And I'm like, "Nah, no, it's not." I'm like, "Cause I used to be fat. I've never been anyone who was like, yeah, I used to be black, but I tried keto and things changed." You know? They have different struggles. You know what I mean? Like, black people have had to march for everything that they have. It's like, could you imagine if fat people had to march as much as black people? It's like, problem solved.
Yeah, I don't know anybody that's actually scared of fat people, and I've seen a lot of people that are scared of spiders. They'll jump on a chair and they'll scream. But I've never seen somebody do that to a fat person when they walk in the room. Just imagine that. A fat person walks in the room and people just jump on chairs and they start screaming. Basically, if you tell them what they don't want to hear, or you tell them the truth, then they're going to call you phobia this, phobia that. It's a load of bullshit.
Disney is giving the Star Wars franchise a facelift, and their next film will be directed by a Canadian Pakistani feminist. Can you give me a little taste?
I like to make men uncomfortable. I enjoy making men uncomfortable.
Pay you to feel uncomfortable? This is a very interesting marketing strategy. 2/3 of the Star Wars audience is male, and your goal is to make them feel uncomfortable? I guess making movies that people enjoy and make money is a thing of the past.
So basically, the next Star Wars is going to be a super strong feminist as the lead role, and then the man will be some wimpy little bitch that always needs her to save him. Same as I said about the women's sports, let them ruin it and let it flop, and then maybe it'll give them a reality check.
After a little conversation, these two lovely people agreed to get on my good show. So, what do you think? Okay, so she really took the time to investigate that whole half to tell me details. That's good. They do a good job. Oh, you did. Oh, they. You did. They. And what about you? Oh, did you copy? They copied They. They copied They.
Yeah, I think they might
get some help.
I think it's a great idea. House.
Brian says this, and this makes sense to me. Okay, so in your early years before you got to me, you were sleeping with everything that was around. And now you get to me and say, I really, really like you and hated all those guys, but you have to wait. From the perspective of a man, that's pretty brutal, right? That's a pretty brutal thing to say. It's like, you like me, but I have to wait to experience this. But these other guys you didn't like, they have to wait. I think that makes sense, right? And I actually haven't heard a great answer yet for this.
Maybe trying to do that to try to create value for herself in his eyes. If she had done this before, but is like trying to change her ways and show this to him that he would value her more and be more likely to date her rather than, oh, I just met Greg really into Brian and really wants him to value her and see the work of her, but he's trying to change her way along the way and have him value her.
Because I think what would either happen is that if he's interested in you and he wants that, he'd be inclined to have a relationship with you. It's not clear to me how that will prevent him from still wanting to. And I mean, that's been.
But then wouldn't it just be a manipulation tactic?
Could be.
So isn't it a false? But this is where he stalemates it and why it pisses me off because of that answer, right? So that answer is what it creates value for me in his eyes, right? Okay, but if it didn't, if that didn't, would you still sleep with him the first night? And the answer is, yeah. It's like, so then aren't you faking virtue? And that is when, and that's when Brian says, wait, so no, but hang on. So what Brian says here, right, as frustrating as it is, because I don't have the great response to this, how's that not faking virtue? If she and so remember the entailment here is, I do this to create value in your eyes. But if that doesn't create value in my eyes, but instead sleeping with you creates that value, would you do that? The answer would have to be yes, because that's what you're creating the value for, right? And he says, well, then you're faking virtue. And it's like, I don't know how to get around that exactly. It's a good point.
I think like her level of comfort also makes sense though that she's not gonna want to sleep with someone after a first date after what she's been given, the experience she was given.
Yeah, I'm not even disagreeing that that's true.
Or not knowing what his
Yeah,
values
I'm not disagreeing with this.
I
at all.
don't like set a time limit where I tell them like I'm not sleeping with you till we go on 5 dates. I purposely don't on the first date, and like if it feels right, I not on the first date, but like if it, I don't put a time limit on it. It's basically what I'm saying.
Well, listen, I understand because what you guys are doing is you're kind of you're individualizing this, which is fine, right? You can individualize it. Maybe their preference isn't this. I agree with you, right? But if it is that I'm making you wait, not because I wouldn't sleep with you if I thought that created the value, but instead of making you wait because I think it creates value to you, for me, that I don't do this, then I don't see how an entailment of that isn't I'm faking virtue. I can't see how to rationalize. Can you?
The only thing that makes me think, the only way I can rationalize it a little bit, and I don't even think I agree with it, I'm just trying to like put the pieces together in my brain, is if you are going out with the intent to prove the virtue to yourself and not the man, you're going out there to prove
But
it.
isn't that cope?
It's
totally cope.
That's what I'm saying. The only way I can rationalize it in my head is like you have, I don't know, some come to Jesus moment and you realize this is how you're going to rationalize it to yourself moving forward. But I think Brian's got us there.
Yeah, it's a bad one. It does. So I'm going to destroy this argument. Not today, but I will. It is a stalemate because it's true, right? If the answer is I would do this if I thought this was more pleasing. Instead, I'm doing this because I think to him it creates more value. He sees me differently. And if we took that out of the equation, I don't see how it's not faking virtue.
But this also has to be.
I think it's just unsure.
I'm also doing it to like not get myself hurt, because for me, when I do sleep with someone, I normally get feelings for them. So like waiting will help me like see if this person is someone I actually really do want to date.
But so here's where it gets complicated, right? So this whole waiting for sex thing becomes a bit more believable when a woman has a track record of upholding it. But you said that, so this guy who you've currently been seeing, you made him wait 5 dates, if I recall?
Probably about, I didn't like say 5 dates, but like
that's what
I'm
happened.
estimating, yeah.
Okay, but then in between that, you said there was one guy who you hooked up with immediately.
Yeah.
So it's not an actual value you hold. It's just sort of this arbitrary
Can't
thing.
her values change?
Yeah,
Couldn't she have had a different value
So
when
like
she
snip,
first
snap,
slept with the guy?
snap, back and forth. So
That
one
doesn't
day.
sound like a snip snap. It sounds like she had a bad experience.
No. But hold on. So this is the timeline here, and I don't know the full timeline because I don't know all the people you've dated. Lost your virginity quickly.
A taste of poison.
Made this guy wait 5 dates, and then further. Okay, I know I'm excluding things. Then further along in the timeline, you reverted back to sleeping with somebody quickly. So that is a back and forth. Lost your virginity easily. Made this guy wait 5 dates. One night stand or whatever it was.
Yeah, and that's definitely like.
That's a flip flop.
It is, and I've been trying to better myself in that way because I don't want to just give it up on the first date. So like I've been actively working on it. I want to have that value, but sometimes like my self-esteem gets low, and a lot of the times like when I have sex with somebody, it brings it up for some reason. I can't say exactly why, but that's just how it is. I know that that's not necessarily a healthy way of thinking, which is why I'm actually trying to change.
Well, so here's kind of, I guess, the perspective that I'm trying to get at. So if I can sort of flip the script a little bit. This would be like a guy saying when it comes to like, okay, you have casual sex with these guys in the past, and then the guy who you actually want a relationship with, you make him wait. Be like, listen, you don't understand. Those women were just for hookups, so of course I have notes on this. I'm gonna be no. Of course I bought them expensive stuff. I took them to the best dining places. I even paid their bills. But you're different from them. I actually see you as a potential girlfriend, wife, so you have to wait for those benefits. So we should go out to McDonald's and you should pay, by the way.
Once again, I'm not purposely making them wait.
Are you just going on dates with women to have?
Yeah, no, I understand your point as well, and I'm trying to explain myself. Like, my values have changed since that time. So, yeah.
Come on!
I think Frank
Did you have something on this? It sounds like it. You? Yeah.
Healing is not a linear process, so it makes sense that she has to take steps back to take steps forward. Because we were talking about the flip-flops, but it's a very, very common occurrence when someone is changing their moral view that they're going to fall back on it. And they're going to change.
Right.
And that's okay. That's part of growth.
Yeah, that's cool for her, but I'm trying to explain the male perspective and why a guy might view this as bullshit or frustrating. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I totally get it. I think if a
She can
guy
do whatever she
truly,
wants.
genuinely values you and wants to be with you, then he will be willing to wait. I don't think a man that is unwilling to wait, I think that says a lot about who they are as a person,
Right,
a
and
lot more than a woman.
I think a woman who truly likes you, even though she knows that you treated every single girl prior to her that you've been with, whether it was a long-term relationship, or maybe we can even exclude long-term relationships, and she knows that you've had, some casual hookups, one-night stands, and you would pay for the date for the casual hookups, you would bring them on trips, you would do all these things, you would provide, you would protect, but now that all of a sudden he really likes you and you really like him, he wants to actually pull back on providing. He doesn't want to pay for dates for you because you're the one, but he doesn't want to provide. And you know that all his prior relationships and girlfriends and women he's hooked up with got far better treatment. You wouldn't be upset about that as a girl?
Yeah, but I think that's very different
How's that
waiting for
different?
someone to have sex with you.
How is that?
Because I don't think that
it's an analogy, so it's not a one-to-one.
Yeah.
It doesn't. What's the term? It doesn't like print on one-to-one.
I just don't think it's fair to assume a woman. I don't think it should be expected of her to give it up easily on the first date because she made the mistake the first time.
No, she doesn't have to. I'm just sharing the guy's perspective here.
I understand the guy's perspective.
Because I'm bi, I date women. If a woman came to me and told me her story, my first thought wouldn't be, man, it's so unfair that I don't get sex right now. I would think, that's so awful that you went through that. I'm so sorry that you
Who's saying that
trauma.
something awful?
Wait for that.
Who's saying that something awful
What's she
happened?
saying?
There's a test.
Kind of
Abuse?
awful.
You think it was
No,
abuse?
I've never said that.
She had
Don't
a
put words in my mouth.
quirky hookup.
I didn't get any
situation.
trauma or anything.
I mean,
That's not trauma.
It wasn't an ideal.
She had consensual sex.
but it-
Why are you trying to paint it like pathologize the situation?
I'm not pathologizing the situation.
I mean, you have a tendency to do that, but go on.
not.
You're saying what?
She
This
explained
woman has
it, it sounded like overall, from what she explained, it was not an overall positive experience. It's not how I personally.
It's not abuse if you had
I never said it was
negative
abuse.
experience.
I never said it was abuse. I never
You
once
said trauma.
Yeah, you can get trauma from something that's not abuse.
So like having a
I think that like
having a regret.
I don't want to speak for her and say
I do not have trauma from
having
this.
Yeah, I'm
It
not
was
speaking
weird.
for her.
Let's say she really regretted it.
Yeah.
Is that trauma?
No, actually, having shame is a very good thing in society. We've lost the ability to have shame about things that are shameful, and you cannot grow and you cannot learn without shame and regret.
That's exactly why
My entire point was to not speak for her and whether her experience was traumatizing or not. My entire point was if I heard from a person that I was interested in dating that they had prior negative experiences and they said, because of my negative experiences, I want to wait until fifth date, I respect that.
Okay, as long as you're totally fine if a man had a negative experience and you're saying that the woman is not allowed to feel a certain type of way if she finds out that a guy that she's she's dating treated his exes in this sort of way, bought food, bought gifts, paid for dates, took her on trips, whatever it is.
I think it's like a very common thing. I think a lot of guys with their first love, they do over pour and they do over gift and they learn from that situation. Take 3 steps back and they go back. And I think that's a very healthy response to being taken advantage of. And I'm not sitting here and saying her situation got taken advantage of. What you're explaining is a man who got taken advantage of by their first love. So as a result, now going into their next relationships, yeah, they probably are not going to be going all out again because they're trying to protect themselves. And I think that's a really healthy response. I think what she told me, it seems like she's having a very healthy response and learning from a mistake.
Except you're including one. I'm not saying in these scenarios, hypothetical scenarios, that the woman mistreated him.
Okay.
I'm not saying that they had a bad experience because they did these things, right?
Okay.
By getting a woman gifts, paying for dates, etc.
Okay.
I'm just saying a woman might feel like, hold on, does she really care, or excuse me, does he really care about me? Because in all his other relationships, he did the most for his girlfriends. Am I just like sex to him? Does he not really care about me? Because in all his other relationships, he did XYZ. I'm not getting XYZ. Am I less important to him because of that? What's going on here?
So you would feel less important if a woman lost her virginity within 8 hours and wanted to make you wait 5 dates?
I would think it's a raw deal.
I understand. I get more what you're saying now. I get more what Brian's point is. Like he has got a stalemate there.
Yeah, I get the point, but don't you think it's good for people to learn from their
I think
past
I think it's an enormous green flag because it
You can learn from your past, but you
shows
can't.
that she went through a past experience and she learned from it and she grew, and that to me personally is incredibly important when you're looking for a partner.
You're forgetting the arbitrary nature with which she has this standard because she stated herself that she lost her virginity quickly, made this new guy wait 5 days, and then after that slept with somebody quickly. It's a totally arbitrary virtue or value. So where is the growth there? If you make a guy wait 3 months to have sex with him, and then immediately once you break up with him, you go and a guy the first night after meeting him after the breakup, you would look back at that and be like, wait, she went and this guy immediately, but I waited 3 months? So it was never about virtue, it was never about value. It was just some arbitrary thing. She was trying to withhold sex to get compliance from me in some way, essentially a game.
Fake virtue.
No, I genuinely wasn't trying to do that. Like, I was genuinely trying to be better for
You don't
myself.
think you were?
Okay. Just wanted
So just so you understand, and this is that thing I was talking about earlier, where sometimes when you're talking about a situation, you think, it's directed at me. It's really not directed at you. It's just parsing this idea of the perception of how a man might feel under these situations, right? So I can understand how a man would feel that he was getting the raw end of the deal, or that he was being emotionally manipulated, or that a woman was faking virtue.
I can understand.
Whether that was your motivation or not,
Yeah, no,
I just assume it wasn't. I'm just explaining that from the male perspective, I can understand why they would think that.
At Vodafone, supercharge your world with the new Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6 with a super saving of 5.
And you do describe yourself as a feminist, you said in your notes. And your notes here are these things you wanted to bring up?
I mean, they're just nothing.
Or just
It's stuff that I've noted. Yeah, that's good.
Because you provided some of the that we don't have, that you wanted to bring up, we'd be happy to go into it. You said, please put me on the podcast. I'm watching the live stream right now and I want to pull my hair out. Was that the Charlie Kirk episode?
Yeah.
Okay. You said you're a flight lead. Yeah.
He did
And you said that you're a flight attendant, big old feminist.
Yeah.
And you said, I promise I'll come in guns blazing.
Yeah.
Well, you can't rage quit if you're going to come in guns blazing. Guns blazing, you got to stay till the very...
Do I have to?
Pretty much. Anyways, you said... You said women shouldn't be drafted because the Equal Rights Amendment still hasn't been passed.
Exactly.
And women aren't constitutionally, equal to men.
Yes. This is the stuff I wanted to talk
Sure.
about.
So why don't we dive into that? So your position is women should be drafted. You're a feminist, though. I assume you believe in equality.
Yes.
So how do you reconcile being a feminist and believing in equality, but being in favor of inequality when it comes to selective service?
Because the Equal Rights Amendment has not yet passed, so women are still not constitutionally equal. So for that to pass, if that passes, draft me daddy, I'm ready to go.
So when you say women aren't constitutionally equal to men, and you mentioned the Equal Rights Amendment, what do you mean?
This Equal Rights Amendment.
Well, assume there's a panel here who has no idea what that is. Assume there's viewers here who have no idea what that is.
Equal Rights Amendment is actually.
Well, let's have it.
Wow, I didn't think you wouldn't know what the Equal Rights Amendment is. It's just that it would be an amendment to the Constitution that you can't discriminate on the basis of sex. Yeah. No.
No?
No, it would be the ERA, the Equal Rights Amendment. You can't discriminate on the basis of sex. I don't know what the 19th Amendment is. Do you want to tell me?
And so this amendment, it's not clear to me how, because you said, so currently women aren't constitutionally equal to men. So I suppose where in the Constitution would it indicate or show that they're not equal to men?
You have the 19th Amendment? Okay, pull it up. Right of the citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of sex. Congress shall have the power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation. Meaning, when it comes to voting. And if you're equal to men when it comes to voting, then that means that you can elect whatever politician you want to enforce your will, just like we can. Totally equal. So.
Then why didn't the Equal Rights Amendment pass?
It's not about equal rights, it's about redefining the word woman. It redefines the word woman from biological woman with XX chromosomes to anybody who wants to identify as a woman.
Right.
Within the very definition of what have all agreed.
So, this said, there can be no discrimination based upon sex. There's only two. Even if you think a person can, whatever they identify as, they are that thing. Even the advocates for transgenderism would not say that they're the sex of. They would not say that they're the sex of. So a transgender female is not going to say that they have female genitalia. So the descriptor here for sex would work across the board for everybody.
Transgender female wouldn't say that she's female.
They would not say that they are females biologically. They would not say that they're biological. That's correct. They would say there's only two sexes. There's only two. There could only ever be two. One sex produces ova with big, large gametes. The other one produces sperm, which is small.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's only two. Because there's only two, there's only two reproductive pathways. Even the major transgender advocates do not say that there's more than two sexes. They say that there's hundreds of genders.
Okay.
But there's still only two sexes. So that amendment, the 19th Amendment, says based on sex, which will cover every human being. Every human being who currently exists in the United States, not one that would not cover. Not based on sex.
Did you read the Equal Rights Amendment?
Yeah.
Okay, so then how would this be changed?
What do you mean?
Like if you read the bill, then you would like the point of the ERA is not to amend the 19th Amendment legislation to change the definition of law. You read it like okay. But that doesn't. But why is women getting drafted contingent on whether you change the definition?
I just I don't understand why that's why would that be a difficult thing to pass? Like if the ERA is not.
Well, that's two separate issues.
Is it?
Yeah.
But wasn't that a big topic that like Phyllis Schlafly was all about? Like if the ERA passes, we're never gonna be drafted.
Well, it would open the door to them being drafted, I suppose.
So you're arguing, but the thing is the epitome is a straw man now, right? To create the arguments against people who never made them. So I so most certainly fine. The argument is making certain.
Okay.
sign up for selective service, and they are, or else there's huge penalties against them.
Yeah.
If you truly believed in egalitarianism, why is it that you would not demand the same thing?
Because I don't think it's enough. I think that there needs to be more. I think that if it truly was equal, then the ERA should have passed no problem, and I think that
What would that have to do with signing up the sex, the biological sex of females is allowed to vote? Why is it that the biological sex of females?
we're getting into different topics.
I don't think we are.
Jive estimated $200.
No, there's a trans.
2020 SCOTUS opinion boss of the week. Clayton already prohibits discrimination on the basis of orientation and gender identity. Quit playing wannabe lawyer.
But we don't even have to. We don't even have to get that far. Let's pull up the 19th again. Citizens, the right of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States by any state on account of sex. If that is true, then no human being inside the United States is going
Stick together, don't rush it. You have 30
period,
seconds.
based on a sexual characteristic, period.
Okay.
We can win.
But the equal rights is okay.
Hold on. So we can get into the equal rights.
Don't push, don't push.
But you said that women should be drafted because the Equal Rights Amendment still hasn't been passed.
Let's go now.
And women aren't constitutionally equal men. That's the second claim.
Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go.
You said women aren't constitutionally equal to men. Can you articulate how?
I think like a common equality rights under the law shall not be denied or abridged by the U.S. or by any state.
I'm actually willing to go with this.
Yeah.
I'm actually willing to engage with this. So you agree that this has to do with redefining what a woman is, right?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Do you think currently that transgender men have to sign up for selective service?
So are they assigned male or female at birth?
They're assigned female at birth.
And they transition to male?
This is not a toy. Lightsabers are no longer just a dream. Now,
Yeah, even
Sure.
before they reached 18.
Before they reached 18? If they're fully transitioned, then yeah, I would think so.
They don't.
Okay.
They do not
Then
have to
that should
sign up for
change.
the selective service.
Then that should change.
Okay, so what you have just demonstrated is that even if we're talking about the trans agenda, that trans men are also still not equal with trans
men
women.
are
They're
men.
still not equal with trans women.
Because they're men. Trans men
Wait,
are men.
hang on. If that's true, right, then how come they don't have to sign up for selective
They
service?
should have to because they're men.
Okay, they should have to.
Because they're men, yes.
So then, shouldn't trans women?
It's likely that time is passing at the same rate it
Trans
always
women
has.
should what?
Shouldn't
Barring
trans women,
relativistic effects,
right?
of course.
Shouldn't they be exempt under this?
Trans women shouldn't have to sign up
Yeah.
for the... Yes.
Even though they're biologically males?
No, trans women are women.
Biologically male.
Trans women are women.
Yeah, but biologically they're
Trans
males.
women are women.
Yeah, but you're
They're
not saying
women.
anything.
I don't... You're not saying anything.
No, I
either.
am. I'm saying
They're
something very specific.
biologically whatever, they're women.
Okay, got it. So what you're saying here is that you think that trans men who are born female should have to, hang on, should have to sign up for the draft, but that the ones who are assigned man at birth, assigned male at birth, they should be exempt from the draft.
If they are transitioned to women,
I marked the enemy.
identify as women, yes.
Why do they have to transition? Why couldn't they just identify?
Then they're women. They're whatever point they are, if they're a woman, then they're a woman.
Then it's equal.
Great.
Then it's equal between all of it, right? Because in this case, then biological men, if they say they're women, they don't have to get drafted.
Sure, throw that equal rights amendment up there, and we're all equal, and draft us all.
So, I just want to make sure I get this right. Right now, you agree that nobody can be drafted. No, I mean, nobody can be barred from voting on the basis of sex.
Right.
Do you think there's a third sex?
No. I think that there are women and men.
Yeah, do you think there's a third sex? How many sexes do you think there are?
I don't think that.
I think it matters. How many sexes do you think
I
there
think
is?
that this is like a. Do you know any transgender people?
Yeah. How many sexes do you think there are?
Yeah. Do you think that
Yeah, I
this
can
is
name.
harmful to their?
Whether it's okay. Let's assume for a second that I don't think that transgender people don't understand that you can have a conversation about biological sex without going into the light. So I don't think.
No, it's not about
they're
that.
going to do
It's
that.
that you set like a precedent where, well, you set a precedent of like, you know, violence where my friends don't feel safe going to different places of work. Or
Yeah, but what would that have to do with whether they're equal or not?
well, when you're saying like when you have these arguments that like don't like trans women are women, trans men are men.
Fine.
And when you break that down,
Even if I say that,
Yeah.
nobody's going to dispute that there's only two sexes. If there's only two sexes, the 19th Amendment says that nobody can be denied the right to vote
Great,
via
okay.
sex.
Sure.
So all those trans people can vote.
Right. Okay.
So then what's the inequality issue?
That's what I said. So draft them all.
So then you think everybody should get drafted?
Throw the Equal Rights Amendment out there.
No.
Because if
Why
everybody's
do we
equal,
need
then
the
there
equal
should be
rights?
no problem. If we, you know what? If there's no problem, and if we don't, like, we should have it then. Why is it such a big deal?
I think this word will sum this up perfectly.
Okay.
Redundancy. So, women already have, at least it's my position, are constitutionally equal to men. So even if, okay, but
What
so
are
you're,
you asking for? What do we not get that you think we should bodily autonomy?
okay, we'll get into that. We'll get into that. But okay, so it's my view though that you're saying, well, we don't have this bill that is named and called entitled the Equal Rights Amendment. Ergo, we don't have equal rights because the bill that is titled the Equal Rights Amendment was not passed. But this bill, and I'm not super familiar with it, I'm not entirely sure if it is a redundancy, but the current state of affairs, the 19th Amendment, constitutionally, women are equal, but you made the claim women aren't constitutionally equal, so the burden is on you to articulate how women aren't constitutionally equal to men, and you cannot point to a bill just by virtue of the title of the bill, it not passing, being evidence that women aren't constitutionally equal to men.
How is something called the Equal Rights Amendment not passing?
Okay,
I just feel like 2 plus 2 equals,
hold on.
yeah.
The title of the bill is irrelevant.
Do you think that North Korea is really a republic? Because it's called the Republic of North Korea. It's a communist dictatorship, but it is called the Republic of North Korea. So that must be a republic then.
The Inflation Reduction Act.
I just.
But okay, so the contents of a bill might oftentimes have nothing to do with the actual title.
Okay.
So you did make the claim, and women, that's separate from the Equal Rights Amendment, aren't constitutionally equal to men. So you're going to have to articulate how women aren't constitutionally equal to men.
I think that if they were, then the Equal Rights Amendment should have passed no problem. That's all I have to say about the Equal Rights Amendment. That's it. That's all I have to say. I can't articulate more than that. That's my point. And then I also think that women would be able to have more bodily autonomy.
Okay, so we can get into that.
Would you vote so that men couldn't vote on women's bodily autonomy?
Men couldn't vote? Like, I don't understand in the context.
Would you would vote so that men couldn't
In
vote
what
on women's
context?
abortion?
Yes, I would vote that way.
Okay, right. So that's the same reason that we vote that you don't have abortions.
But, okay, then there you go.
Just like that. If you would vote that we couldn't tell you that you couldn't,
Well, that's a
then in
fair
a
point.
democracy, that
Then
we could vote in a democracy to tell you you can't. See?
Sure, well, then I do think that's wrong. And
So then voting's wrong?
No, I think that I should backtrack my statement because I think that everybody should have bodily autonomy. So if you, I guess if you want to vote for my right to not have control of my body, I think that's unfair.
Well, okay, hold on.
And I probably shouldn't vote for you to.
Not going to allow you to weasel out of this. So you can try to bring up abortion, but that's a different conversation. So you stated, and women aren't constitutionally equal to men. You don't think so? But that's what I'm asking. That's what I'm trying. Hold on, just let her answer. It's okay.
I remain unspeakable.
So you don't think we are. In what ways do you think you are not? Constitutionally.
I didn't think they were because the ERA didn't pass.
I have
Oh, can you give us an
48 kills.
example?
That's the example I gave.
Okay, so
Let's go together, guys.
If you don't like that one, then that's
No, I
fine.
mean,
If you don't like it, then move
okay,
on.
but hold on.
I gave you abortion.
Wait.
Well, may I? Because she explained what the bill was, but you never gave your explanation for what this is. So I keep wanting to know, what do you mean this bill? Like, what does it mean? Like, what was denied? The right for trans men to be trans women and all of us to be the same thing. That's how she explained it. Is that it's a universal, like all of us, to make trans women women. That's what this bill is? Is
No,
that what it is
I
to
mean,
you?
like, the definition of feminism is, like, to me, well, not even to me. It's literally the belief that women and men should be allowed to have the same rights.
Which we do.
And I feel like the Equal Rights Amendment says that.
So,
But isn't
what
the
does it
19th just for voting?
But what I'm asking, like, what does it
So
say?
why can't we have that for everything? If the 19th
have
is
it
just
for
for voting.
Yeah, we do.
So-
Actually, hang on. This is a great question, and I would like to answer your
Okay.
question. If you can name a single right that you think that this is not applicable to, meaning men have it and women don't, Mullers. You say that women can't do abortions, neither can men.
They have this coming, so let's give it to them.
Do you mind if I have some time to think about
Sure.
it? Okay.
So wouldn't men be not as equal by not having a say in abortion as a woman does?
The man was there to make.
I mean, it's both.
I think that's a.
Right. I'm just
While,
asking.
while she's thinking,
It's not a debate. I'm
Nick,
just asking a question.
pull up the scroll up in the sources, the viewer count. All right, guys, there's 10,000 people watching on YouTube. Wow, big. And almost 2,000 over there on Twitch.
Did you know too we have their own range of adults-only hotels?
Go on.
Fine.
This is not an electric bike yet, but it will be thanks to the Switch Kit. Bye-bye old wheel and hello switch wheel. We're going to go with the easy install right here. This motor turns on, rear wheel spinning, pedal assist, there it goes. Switch Kit stands out for a few reasons, with simplicity being the key one. The front hub motor design makes installation easier since you don't have to worry about a rear derailleur, rear cassette, or compatibility with the rear dropouts. Plus, integrating the controller into the actual battery means there's one less component to manage during installation. The frame battery as well is designed with simplicity in mind, eliminating the need to jerry-rig a battery onto the frame like other kits. Strap attachments are super easy and overall installation is straightforward. One of the main benefits is converting a bike you already love or finding an affordable way to own an e-bike.
Switch to Chrome to load your favorite sites fast, so you can browse with ease. Fast, safe.
Do you think you'll be better looking in 10 years' time as compared to now? So you're 23. Do you think you'll be better looking at 33 than you are now at 23?
I don't think I'm going to change much. I think I'll look relatively the same.
Okay. What about, so same in terms of attractiveness, 33 to 23. What about 43, 20 years' time?
I'll probably look more attractive, 33.
So,
Or 23, 33, yeah. I would say 43. I'll look older. I don't think, like, older is less attractive, though. I think, I just don't feel like that.
So the question is not, will you still be attractive? You may very well still be attractive, not making that claim at all. But the question is just, will you be more, the same, or less attractive as you currently are at your current age?
The same, I would say, because I'd say that factor changes based on age. What someone considers like a hot 45-year-old is going to be very different than what they consider like a hot 25-year-old. So if I consider myself attractive at this age, I would consider myself attractive at 43 as well too.
Okay. What about, so 53?
Yes.
63?
Yeah. Look, there's grandmas that can still get it. There's, I don't, yeah.
Okay.
I think it's just
And then
more-
going to you, you're 31. Do you think you'll be more attractive in 10 years' time?
I think this conversation is objectifying and disgusting. I'll pass.
Well, why is it disgusting? That's a simple question. We can answer too. Do you think it's objective? objectifying women or
I think it's
objectifying in general?
objectifying women.
As long as objectification.
I'm not gonna. So,
Jude, wait.
see, can I just pass? Do you really want to break this down?
You could just engage.
I just,
to be on the show.
I did, sure. But like, I mean, there's the two things that I didn't want to do. I didn't want to like rate myself on a scale of 1 to 10, and that's.
All right, promise those are the only two things you don't
Yeah,
want to
and I
talk
don't
about?
want to my body count because that's it.
Okay, so 3 things.
No,
Is there
I said
anything-
rate myself on a scale of 1 to 10, and my body count.
Yeah, but this isn't rating though.
Oh, well, in 10 years, okay, I think there's the potential to do both because of plastic surgery and lots of things.
Well, how about this? Do you think, what about at 51 compared to 31?
51, and, you know, I don't know.
20 years time, do you think you'll be better looking? So when you age, are there changes to your face, skin?
Sure, but like when I look at pictures of myself when I was 20, like, do I think I was beautiful? Yeah, but like I see myself now, and like I think that things about me now, maybe if they're not like as physically attractive, I see them as attractive to me, I've like been through.
What do you mean physically?
Yeah, I don't know, like, because I do think that like confidence and energy does come out physically. You know, the way you carry yourself, the way you hold yourself. So I think like as an insecure 20-year-old versus a secure 30-year-old versus a very secure 40-year-old versus like a glowing 50-year-old, I think there could be differences.
Wait, a secure 30-year-old?
Yeah.
Well, how can you be secure if just having a single conversation on a rating would undo years of therapy?
It
That
didn't,
doesn't sound like
but it
security.
didn't because I drew a boundary.
Yeah, so I mean, it doesn't sound like security, but okay.
Well, I mean, I draw a boundary for a triggering subject. That's actually what adults do. If it's something you don't want to talk about, you don't have to talk about it. We have many things that we're not supposed to talk about on this podcast.
Yeah, but it's not because we
boundary.
wouldn't want to talk about them. It's because we're at the confines and the mercy of the platform that we're on. Not because I wouldn't want to actually get into those
Why do you
things.
think those topics are not allowed on this platform?
Because a bunch of fucking communists own the platform.
Well,
That's why.
yeah, okay.
Honestly.
That sounds like a generalization.
It is. Well, yeah, it is a generalization, specific generalization.
Well,
I think we know who's gonna rage quit.
Andrew?
No, I probably will leave early though because I gotta go to work tomorrow.
Oh.
Not right now, but keep going.
So much for the bad bitch.
Did I say I was a bad bitch?
You did earlier in your
Did I?
conversation. You rewind it. You said that's why my therapist told me to be a bad bitch.
Oh,
told me to be a
cool.
bad. You know what I mean?
Bad bitches
Well, so
gotta go to bed
question on
early.
this. Question on this. Kind of rewinding a bit here. You're 31. Do you think you were better looking at 21 than you are now at 31?
Physically, sure, yeah.
Oh. Physically, sure.
Yeah.
Well, so, but why can't you answer the definitive, like moving forward in time?
Because I don't know what's gonna happen.
Well, I mean, just looking at, I guess, trajectory.
I don't know what's gonna happen.
Sure, of course, but
that happened.
do you have stocks?
I'm sure I do somewhere.
Well, it's possible there could be total societal collapse and your stocks could end up worthless. But if you had to be a betting woman in 10 years' time, knowing what you know about the stock market, for example, over periods of time, it just goes up, 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 even if we're currently like going through a bit of a crash. But over time, it's just continually going up, 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 even if there's periods of decline in the stock market, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, best guess?
Couldn't tell you.
Okay, all right.
Do you not have a mother to look at and say, this is
My mother's
how...
like really beautiful.
Well, yeah, so that's how you can possibly gauge how you'll look in the future, right?
Yeah.
By looking at your mother?
But I could like gain 50 pounds, lose 50 pounds. I could get a whole lot of Botox,
No, but you can see what your
Botox.
genetics will do
I could,
for your
yeah,
body and
yeah.
what you could possibly end up
Sure.
doing, so you can make a generalization of saying yes or no, right?
Sure.
Just curious.
Okay, I could.
I mean,
yeah.
that's how I look at it.
Yeah.
I look at my mother and go, that's how she aged.
Okay.
Will I age the same?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You are 26, better looking in 10 years' time at 36?
I think so.
You don't want to get into it, though, but you rated yourself a 10. You also said, though, you would be better looking in 10 years' time. So how can you be a 10 now, but also be better looking? Or excuse me, actually, just to be fair, I think you said you'll be the same.
Yeah.
So I guess I can't make that argument.
Yeah, but she also said she'd be the same at 50.
Yeah. I think I really like old people. I think a lot of old people are really beautiful. You can see that they have a lot of life experience. I think a lot of people don't even make it to 50, and I think if you're lucky enough, you should really cherish the life you have. And yeah, I don't know. I very cherish who people are as people more than I guess what they physically look. A soul is more important to me. My partner is considerably more attractive to me now that I know him more than when I first met him. Considerably more. So yeah, I think the more I get to grow and learn as a person, the better I'll be in a lot of different areas. And that's just me personally. I understand that, not everyone's going to rate me a 10 out of 10, and I'm okay with that.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, really quick, going back to you, do you think all women are 10s?
I think it's whatever they rate themselves.
Do you think all men are 10s? One sec.
Seriously, Shelby donated $200. Can we get the orca out of the room? Let's be honest, she doesn't want the truth and wants to be in Lulu Land. She needs the
really great
heat
over
to
here.
see reality. First time donation, long time watcher.
All right, seriously, Shelby, thank you for the TTS. Appreciate it.